던 마주한 darkness 속에 헤매이는 너 발버둥 쳐봐도 now it's time to late 이 시간이 지나버린다 틱톡 내 책 속에 갇혀버린 너 Locked in 내가 속아줄게 이걸 바란 거야 Wake up game it's over go away 천사 같은 속삭임 뒤 이어진 burn
Good evening and welcome back to Rhythmgates. Yes, it is. Sorry, someone made a noise which made me think, have I got the name of my fortress wrong again? Where last time we were briefly interrupted in our quest to tidy up all of the clothes by the arrival of a forgotten beast, which we rapidly stuffed into a cage and so that we could keep on tidying. And yes, there is not a lot that's exciting going on. Though one thing I have realised I want to try. So I just spotted my prisoner hurling a polar bear bone earring across the prison. And our Saxoludist, Baron Consort of Trade Pleated, is throwing a tantrum. And apparently throwing earrings as well. Well, that's fine if you want to. I'm going to unforbid them so that anyone who wants them can pick them up. Because you've apparently thrown them away. No, this means they're annoyed because they've been stressed because we've they've been imprisoned for beating people up because they were stressed. Let's add more artwork to this room by smoothing and then engraving all the walls in the hope of cheering the prisoners up further. Well, the prisoner. I mean, it probably won't work. Saxoludist Baron Consort of Trade Pleated cancels starting fist fight. Target inaccessible. Well, yes, that's because you're chained up so that you can't start fist fights. Because you kept starting fist fights.
So they haven't got the hang of restorative justice in the dwarf world yet?
Well, not really. In that you get your the restoration has to be dealt with by the rest of the fortress. This is more kind of preventive. Did you just hurl a barrel across the room? Yes. Sorry, I'm sniffling a bit because hay fever.
And unlike me, Ben was mad enough to go outside today.
Does that mean we have another case of disorderly conduct we can convict them of? Yes.
What with this Baron? No, Baron Consort.
Well, in that case, you will probably be staying in prison a bit longer. Right, we'll do what we can to provide you with nice things, but
We've just attempted another fist fight, with equal lack of success.
now trying to attend a meeting.
Presumably will also fail to do that before chained up.
Trying to attend a meeting and throw a tantrum simultaneously. No, we don't. Good. Anyway, I had an idea of a thing that I wanted to do, which was to connect up some more of this nice collection of levers to things upstairs so that we can operate like the doors and such like without needing to go up to the levers near the entrance, which are quite tricky to get to. And so far we haven't ever actually managed to exclude everyone from the dining rooms, so I think the dining rooms may be a good place to put the levers. So what I want to do is, I think, to have some groups of 3 levers for each of the 2 entertaining entrances to the fortress. Yes, one problem, of course, is that the Baron Consort is in a room which has booze and food in it, and people occasionally wander in and nick it, which is inconvenient. In particular, because that puts them within range of a fist fight with the Baron. Suppose if I put the prison further away, that would help, wouldn't it? But right, so if I link up the... Let's go for the outer bridge of the mortal coil first. Which one's the outer bridge of the mortal coil? That one. Oh right, there's an enormous number of things that do coil access. That's going to need a lot of mechanisms. Using target a low quality one. That. Oh, Stoats. I think that didn't schedule the job because I pressed the wrong button. Yes. And then this one is going to be linked up to lots of bridges because it needs to be linked up to all of those. So that's going to need a lot of mechanisms. Okay, I haven't actually got enough mechanisms to do all of this, so also make more mechanisms. See, almost everything that anyone is doing in this place involves moving things from one place to another.
People living at point C, being a point directly in between.
Yes. Which subject? Let us lock the doors into various mine areas that we don't really need access to. So as to slightly simplify route finding. After locking the doors, I quickly check that no one has cancelled a job, because that would suggest they were on the wrong side of the door. Oh, there is someone on the wrong side of those doors. Ah, but I haven't locked all of them yet. Okay, let's unlock this layer. That oh, hang on, this is a different layer, right? Yes. Let's unlock that anyway. Sniffle. One moment, please. Right. Blowing of nose finished. Quite a lot of these doors are locked already, which is nice. Is there anyone else on this layer before I seal this one off as well? My hope is that this will improve everyone's route finding a bit. Plus maybe the frame rate will go up a bit. I kind of doubt it, but still. No. Good, someone is coming along to detail the walls. Oh no, you're detailing completely other walls. Oh yes, I was considering dedicating a temple to Feeble King of Weevils just for the good name.
That's a good one.
I don't think we have one at the moment. No. Why are you unhappy then? Bored that you are unoccupied mostly. Well, I can't do anything with you because you're a visitor. Injured and probably thus, yes, no labours available, so the fact that you're unhappy is not easily fixed. Do we really only have one engineer? Well, obviously we don't, because our one engineer is not the one currently moving things around, mechanisms around. Let's just reclaim the various forbidden objects, because our tantruming Baron keeps throwing things, and the general rule is projectiles get forbidden so as to avoid the embarrassment of someone shooting a monster with a crossbow and then running after them to get the crossbow bolt back. All the objects that are thrown by our tantruming dwarf are similarly forbidden from anyone else touching them in order to avoid embarrassing incidents, but there shouldn't be any embarrassing incidents in this case. Oh, we've got a decent quantity of doors, maybe. Let's need operating again. There is quite a lot of craft in there. See if that works. No, it doesn't. You operated those twice in excessively rapid succession. They won't both take effect. Yes, there's an interesting feature here that because I think being imprisoned is sadly hang on, it was what? Wasn't Arth Trumpet Pleats that was now stumbling around obliviously. It's someone else. That one. Can try sending them away. Oops. If you ever get better, go away. I think I should just do that for any visitor who is already seriously unhappy. Because, like, it's hard to make people happy. What? Sorry, Dwarf Fortress just segfaulted. We hadn't yet had an autosave, so I think we pick up from the beginning of tonight's session. So everything that happened heretofore is non-canonical.
Can you replay the video and record the same moves, or will there be randomisation between it?
I almost certainly can't do them at precisely the same times.
Right, so it is actually time-based and therefore randomisation itself.
Right. Hello and welcome back to Iridinod. So I constructed a new let's lose an artifact lever there because that one's quite visible. What else was there? So I was going to start, and we may as well do this before people go mad, saying if you are stressed and a visitor, maybe you should go and be stressed somewhere else.
Pairing method.
Yeah, well, partly because I can't instruct visitors to do anything.
Right.
So many of the mechanisms by which I might be able to de-stress them don't work.
Just have this sort of thing like with the NHS. We're going to send you out of areas somewhere you what?
Well, you apparently don't want to be here. Apply for citizenship and I will probably accept you.
Because you're not a bard?
I might even accept the odd bard. Also, we can't provide medical treatment to visitors, so that bit tends to make them unhappy. Yeah. If you do it at that stage, the expelled person actually leaves. Eventually, after much faffing on the stairs. He's apparently leaving through the caverns. Well, if you want to go that way. Stop beating people up. And there goes the expelled scholar, disappearing through the caverns to find somewhere else to go and be grumpy. What? That was meant to be a V. You don't seem to be seriously unhappy. Or distracted. Well, let's go and deal with that person who is haggard. And is, I think, also not one of us. That room is very crowded. What is it? A temple or something? Oh, is that our generic temple? The natural impunity. Yes, right. Well, we might fix this by just building temples separately to each deity. Are you trying to rest? Yes. look like you might want I think you might want some treatment on that foot. We have a shortage of people actually willing to like diagnose you. And I suppose we can check, do we at least have a chief medical dwarf? We do.
Is your chief medical dwarf called Bones because you did that on purpose? Or is that
Yes. Someone suggested that he should be called Bones. Right, he's currently eating. May turn up later. Look, it's tooth. Let's dispose of that. And a quick check if there's anyone buried down here who needs a memorial. Don't think there is, no. Well, I know that we're going to need more mechanisms, so make mechanisms. And let's start hooking the existing levers up. Someone else there who's unhappy. I should investigate them in a moment.
See the AI community is having one of its moments where, or one of the AI fan droid community is having one of its moments where.
Oops, that was a mistake.
Genuine sentiment AI from Google, allegedly. When I say allegedly, I mean.
Sounds ghastly.
I mean, this is a giant steaming pile of horseshit. Apparently there's a Google engineer who's claimed this has been put on leave, so good, but also states.
Need two more just to finish hooking up that lever. Possibly we need a stockpile of shields. Oh, Rovod Shebngeb Thastith Kogan Cook cancels store item in bin. Too depressed.
Question two of the indoors.
I can't remember. There does come a point when the things get too bad that they essentially can't recover. I think that may be part. That one may be past that point.
Not good, he's scratching your eyes out. Save the battle, and then you go, eye drops, do they go in the eyes or near the eyes?
You do have mechanics enabled, so you might start doing that in a bit.
Also known as, it probably would have been fine right up until the point that
Someone is working on making more rock mechanisms. So you're a visiting scholar and horribly stressed. So I think you should... Oh! Was that the same segfault? I think it was. It was the same key. I remember I was pressing E last time. So I think it's the same segfault. Interesting. Right, don't try to send that dwarf away. Let them leave on their own or die in the attempt. Right, back we go again. But this time I will not be expelling dwarves. Let's just not expel any dwarves. Yes, banishing the same moody scholar, I think.
Mm-hmm. Okay, it's not clear why that should cause a segfault.
Presumably there's some disaster in that scholar's data structures. Right, no expelling scholars. That code path is clearly dodgy. Right, so back we go again. So making new temples. Because we want one Feeble King of Weevils, plus we also want to get some of the people out of our big shared temple. It's really not right, Ben.
Oops, I meant to type in Eric. Never mind.
because I have level 5 of the wrong result.
Yeah. I've got Easton. He's not dying like a snake. Squawk, if you could move the bookcase back into its accustomed position before tomorrow morning, this would be useful.
Well, I think he was a pain in the bottom.
Yes, but I need to be able to get to my desk tomorrow morning. No. Or rather, it would be awkward, particularly since I will have cereal and hot water to take away.
Do we have a grumpy gem setter somewhere?
I'm the gem setter. Grumpy gem setter.
Old Zephon Cod has been found dead. That's a bit worrying. Is someone slaughtering their way through my fortress by any chance? There appears to be a militia captain going around seriously killing people. What are you doing? Solon Bibanavuz. You don't seem seriously unwell. You've just randomly killed someone. And now, nominally at least, heading for a dodging demonstration. Quite why you're going in the direction you are, I don't know. You're going in that direction in order to kill some more people. What? Yes. You seem to be mostly killing visiting scholars. You're going to go to a dodging demonstration? Oh, like the local cats, for instance, and not in any danger from you. Every time you meet a scholar, you kill them. Okay, that was you meeting someone who actually lives here. Right. What I really want is for you to have some cause to go into a room, and so I can lock you in there. Because the corridors, in particular on this floor, are quite open. Because I haven't built enough doors. I've never built enough doors. Well, except in Nose Tools, which was full of doors. Yes, I think those interruptions are by people meeting the Baron Consort of Trade Pleated downstairs. You know about those fights. Well, let's just schedule the installation of some doors in places where I really ought to have had them already. I mean, to be fair, if you go to your militia training, combat training, and start doing this, you might not last very long, because you'll be surrounded by other people who are doing their combat training. I mean, admittedly, the doors to that room are, like, currently not able to be locked, but... Right, I'm locking the two floor hatches at the top of this staircase to prevent so many people getting close to our murderous militia captain. Lots of people seem to be being interrupted by one another today. Our murderous militia captain trying to go up a level again. Do we let them? So now there's a dwarven child around here who keeps interrupting people. Was it you? I mean, I can actually fairly reliably lock this swords dwarf in this corridor. And then probably lock them in a room. Let's see if we can do that. So if... see, let's lock the two... oh, I can't quite do that yet. Lock those two. Also lock that one. That one's open at the moment, so we can't lock that. Okay, a bunch of jobs are going to get cancelled now, which is not quite what I wanted. Now I think what I need to do is to only leave one exit, because otherwise it's just going to get too confusing. Now everyone's just coming up the other staircase, but well, we do still seem to have a lot of confusion going on, which suggests to be some kind of catastrophic data structure corruption. Yeah. Possibly. Sorry, this is kind of inconvenient in that I want to try to separate our unhappy dwarf from all of the others. So what I really want is to go, where are you likely to be going? I have no idea where you're likely to be going. What I really want is one-way trapdoors that let people in but not out. Or out but not in, rather.
The distinction is only a matter of which side of the
Yes. I can't remove you from the rags of winding without dissolving the rags of winding first. But that might be helpful, as in you might drop your sword.
Ooh.
While I'm here, may as well organise the military vaguely correctly. It's good. Lots of people change status, and in particular our problematic person is at least officially no longer a swords dwarf.
Official swords dwarf.
Try to keep them on that layer though.
Am I still doing something?
Yes.
Okay. Ow, leg. Ow, good job.
I think they're now chasing that scholar. Not. Now someone's busy fighting a random guinea cock. Yes. Well, Solon no longer seems to be prone to fighting people. As far as I can see. Yes. So I think I'm going to declare that Solon is probably not a major problem. Though we do clearly have some problems. Let's make sure the fortress is connected again. You've just randomly slaughtered someone. Why? You also were the person who was fighting the guinea cock. Right, I think you're a problem then. Rib oddle thingamy. But the last one we seem to manage to cure by taking them out of the military, so... So we clearly still have problems, but that particular one seems to have gone away. But no one seems to think that these injured scholars are worth properly burying, I don't think. It's like we have access to the... Oh no, Inod's okay, no, they do have tombs. And we have also finally managed to cage our most recent forgotten beast. There isn't some weird situation where these people are citizens of places we're at war with, I don't think. So one thing I'm kind of wondering is there some fairly small number of people who are in an odd state who are causing all of the interruptions? You only have one captain of the guard. No, there seem to be quite a lot of different. I think even in cases where one does send one's save file to the Dwarf Fortress developers, this doesn't tend to lead to you getting back a working save file. At best, it gets you a bug fix in the next release. I mean, like, if I get fed up with this and it all gets too confusing, what I shall do is retire the entire fortress and build a new one. I've just remembered I can do this. It should be like... oh no, I can't actually get to the Forgotten Beast at the moment, can I? Unlock that floor hatch. There we go. I mean, there are lots of interruptions, but no one actually seems to be getting seriously hurt now. Mostly I'm kind of going, there should be some people getting buried, and they don't seem to be getting buried. But at least some of our problems seem to be caused by visiting scholars. So let us close the library. In the hope that that will tend to cause people to leave. Good. People are at least burying some of the dead now. A bunch of elves, probably a dance troupe, have clustered in the north end of the zoo. I mean, my guess is that they're trying to leave and for some reason ended up deciding they want to be in the zoo instead. I'm going to have a quick check that we haven't got any things locked that shouldn't be. You can at least get all the way down and out into the caverns, and also into the surface staircase. Yes. Possibly this is just that the residents having been excluded from the long-term residents having been excluded from the library are not actually leaving because they're not excluded from the fortress as a whole, so they're like hanging around for a bit first, enjoying the other things that the fortress can offer. So a weird thing that seems to be happening is we have a very large number of thirsty scholars in the I think we have a some kind of a town versus gown problem here. Well, because you've got all these thirsty scholars, hungry and thirsty scholars, who aren't in the dining room but instead are near the dining room. So I think that that somehow, I mean, it's clearly not the only thing that's happening, but I wonder, it looks like a bunch of scholars have managed to somehow end up in an argument with a bunch of the locals or something. I don't really understand. And so the scholars, every time they try to go and eat something, find the dining room full of locals and run away again. And like, my hope is that now that the library's closed, the scholars might decide to leave. But on the other hand, they are long-term residents, so they might not. And I'm not going to expel them, because we know how that turns out. Right, I thought I spotted an N tilde briefly, which would be undead, which might be relevant. Oh well, I should, now that we actually have Eto Kubut Dodok and Irod Feb Shorast and Inod Zephon Kod and Aroth Likot Tescom. I might be able to remember some of those names. Mostly I'm just going to press plus until we find people who've been buried but not. I should change the title of the stream, shouldn't I? The stream is now entitled Town versus Gown versus segfault. Okay. Some people at least appear to have made it into the dining room now. Maybe they can find something to eat or drink there. So the blood has been cleaned out of the upper corridors, and while lots of people are getting quite annoyed with one another in the dining room, no one actually appears to have got into a fight recently. It's not a proper fight, they just keep being scared of one another. And possibly if we can, if some of these scholars would leave, dispose of the guinea cock corpse, because that one won't get buried. And check that we have a decent stock of spare slabs. Not, we might want to make more. Yeah, we're getting a bit short of uncarved slabs now, aren't we? Right, and another forgotten beast has been properly put into a cage. Yeah, similarly, they're meant to be putting a large number of kittens down there, and no kittens have actually been provided. Well, let's continue with this job. We'll see whether the fortress is still manageable, and if it isn't, then I don't know. Then we retire it and find a new one. A new reason for retiring a fort. Yes. I mean, it's not actually. I think that appears in the lists of ways to end your fortress in. Oops, that was the wrong one. Yeah, there's one of the game over, like ways in which your fortress can ways in which you can lose is nothing actually goes wrong. It's just that the dwarves are too busy generally getting annoyed with one another to actually do any work, and so your fortress ends up in a situation where you can't make any progress. Not because like everyone's dead, just because everyone's busy. If we can make one more mechanism, and someone is currently working on it. Then, at least I assume they are. Right. Then we can link up that one final thing. Right, so that at least is job scheduled for all of the relevering things from down here. Someone who's not doing any work because you have no labours assigned. Well, We better fix that, hadn't we? You're going, rather perversely, to learn stone detailing. And I think stone crafting. And in general, all of the hauling and all of the ordinary other jobs. I think probably some healthcare, because we're a bit short of healthcare workers. We've got a nice lot of coffins there, though we might want to start organising for needing more, because I'm slightly worried that all these dwarves who are failing to eat will eventually starve to death, which would be kind of embarrassing. So let's make some more coffins so that if we do get a sudden burst of starved... we've reached an autosave. Remember that, because if we do get another crash, I'll thus want to restart from that autosave. So my expectation is that even if this fortress is a bit of a mess, if we retire it, the rest of the world will still be fine. I mean, possibly people who have been in this fortress might be a bit strange, so we should establish the next one a long way away and possibly in a different civilization. Yeah, more or less. So they will never find us. Well, at least they'll find it hard to find us. We could set it up on an island somewhere and do a really isolated, like turning out to only have the initial 7 dwarves because no one else can get to us, sort of thing. The entertaining thing that we're already collecting the wood, the stone that's becoming available as a result of oh dear, that was a cave-in. I'd somehow managed to end up with a situation where part of the where the thing that I was digging out was actually a critical spot of something up above me. Right, well, let's see what happens. Foom. Well, the poor dwarf who was busy doing that mining has been blown some distance across the map, but has survived. I think there was we may possibly have lost some. I think there's a section here that's detached from what was above it. We may possibly have lost some coffins in that. Are you badly injured? You're bruised, you'll be fine. Shaken after being knocked out during a cave-in, yes. Sorry. Right, what I'm going to do then is to... Because obviously I want to be able to remove all of that rock. Most of these pillars, you see, run all the way up to the top of the cavern. But I think that one I may... No, but it's not even got any stairs in it. It somehow ended up disconnected. At that level. And I don't quite know how. And so when we mined through it, it fell out. It fell down. So I wonder if we can safely, like, dismantle it from the top down, that pillar. So if we convert it all into staircases first... I think we have a middle-sized food problem here. Is it still just our visitors who are hungry, actually? Looks like it might be. Well, maybe they should leave then. Meanwhile, we are cutting down trees in order to make some more space. Odom Kilob seems to be seriously, like, running away from everything. I suspect that may just be that they've got combat logging turned on for some reason and are now stuck logging their every thought. Oh. I mean, it's not actually an issue, but we do need to let some more water into the reservoir. I remember that now. It was a requirement. Right, and now water is pouring into our reservoir, because for the first time since we filled it initially, I'm filling it up again. Which might cheer people up a bit, because they'll be pleasant waterfalls going on. Might also fill our reservoir with blood, which would be slightly unfortunate. Well, I mean, contaminate our reservoir with blood. Looks cleanish so far. I think a lot of our visiting scholars are getting depressed, possibly because they haven't had anything to eat. Some of the locals haven't had anything to are looking hungry now. That's a bit worrying. Right, I think I may. Right, let's attempt to improve the food situation a bit by establishing a food stockpile in here that will take. That will take from the main food and drink stockpiles. I mean, I'm not sure that will do very well, given the amount of annoyance people are experiencing. Right, the reservoir is almost full again. The outpost liaison has arrived. They may well ask what the hell is going on. Right, I think the it's not quite full, is it? Let's leave it for a bit longer. Seems to have plenty of valuable stuff just sitting in the trade depot. Oh yes, I should construct that pitch blend bookcase in the correct location, shouldn't I? forgot what square it was. Pink one. In memory of Eto Kubuk Dodok, born 77, struck down by the dwarf Solon Ball Mines with a steel short sword in the year 180. Loving mother and wife, united with trifle pewter.
Trifle.
Trifle.
That pewter was a clean fruit.
In memory of Inod Feb Shorast, born 172, struck down by the dwarf Erib Cloistered Roof with a steel short sword in the year 180, united with common snapping turtle bone. So that's two different killers. In memory of Aloth Likot Tescom, born 61, struck down by the dwarf Solon Ball Mines with a steel short sword in the year 180, loving mother and wife. In memory of Inod Zephon Cod, born 121, bled to death, slain by the dwarf Solon Ball Mines with a steel short sword in the year 180. Slayer of the elf Fayoba Pass River, united with Deertooth. That's the 4 deaths from the whatever the hell is going on in my fortress so far. What's that A swimming around down there? There's an overlord in my underpants. No, in my water supply. She's apparently come to relax. She's heard this was the place to enjoy oneself, which apparently appears to involve going swimming in the water supply. As I recall, you can climb out of there if you want to, so I think, actually it may be that there's not much water in there at the moment, no. It's going to get deeper if you go over there, though. Yes. I mean, if you want to go swimming, I'm not going to object, but I think I'm going to close the reservoir filling hatch now. Hang on, you're listed as an A. Yes, you're an amphibian man. Okay, in that case you perfectly well can go swimming. Feel free. You shouldn't be able to drown. Having, as you do, amphibious nostrils. Nostrils. And we still have a everyone is starving problem. I mean, like now there's a bunch of food in the same room as all those people. Which means that we can move food around if necessary. I'm just wondering if I can do something better to help them get something to eat. Like, could I have tiny rooms that just have some food and a door so that people can eat in private without getting annoyed with one another? Okay, so can we now channel that away as well? Looks like I'm managing to successfully remove this lump of rock without further injury. So, like, you can get some water if you can't find any booze, you know. It's allowed. Well, since we seem to have vaguely functional miners still, actually what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create in each bedroom a tiny food stockpile, at least in a selection of bedrooms. Actually put them in the middle, tiny food stockpiles. And drink stockpiles. With the idea being that if someone moves some food up into those, then a dwarf who is hungry or thirsty can go in there and be pretty confident that they won't get interrupted. Maybe. What? I've just noticed the amount of blood around. Something very bad has happened. This is not looking at all good. When was our previous person who was getting into fights? Like, somewhere down here, maybe? Just in case everyone is getting switched back to inactive, just in case anyone thinks they're on some kind of militia duty. But I don't think that's going to help. I mean, what can I do now? If everyone is apparently getting into fights with everyone else, I can't really lock the doors between them because, well, it's everyone. And even if I would like to, there are going to be teeth in every doorway, so there's no way the doors are going to be able to be closed and locked. I mean, I'm inclined to say what I do is I just unpause and see what happens and try to clear up the mess. Not much, though I would love to work out a way to stop this. I think we are not in... It's not like I can isolate one person, because as far as I can see, everyone is causing trouble. So, okay, die if you want to. I mean, they are, to be fair, at least mostly just engaging in fist fights, so, like, some people may survive. Interestingly, the fighting hasn't spread up here. Much. Okay, maybe it has. Still, there are some scholars having fun in the library. Up here, reading, while there are riots going on downstairs for reasons I don't really understand. So, yeah, I'm kind of now going, well, can I do better than just letting this play out and hoping we end up with a coherent population at the end who can clean up? One problem is that the only way to get water to the hospital is through this mess. It may not be too bad, actually. I think my inclination is to start taking anyone left useful on this layer. There really isn't anyone, actually. I meant to say, if anyone left useful on this layer, and making sure they have all the medical labours enabled so that they have some chance. Of cleaning up. But like actually the number of citizens up here is next to 0. Obviously there are quite a lot of citizens. I'm just going to turn on all the healthcare labours on everyone in the hospital. Then maybe they can care for one another. Rainfall, natural or supernatural. Yes, I suspect it is some kind of loyalty cascade. I don't quite know where it came from, but... Notice that our chained up Baron Consort is just running backwards and forwards very quickly. Someone's trying to attend a meeting. Indeed, the Baron Consort is trying to attend a meeting. Which is an activity that involves running backwards and forwards very quickly. I mean, it looks as if everyone who's left may mostly be frightened of one another rather than actually getting into fights now. But sadly, there is an awful lot of cleaning up to do. Everyone is... There seem to be a fairly small number of people who cause the interruption. Now... So this, I think this, we only have one gem setter in the fortress. I think that gem setter is part of our problem. They are probably going to starve to death fairly soon. I mean, quite a lot of people probably are, to be fair. So the other major interruptions are by an astronomer and occasionally by a Baron Consort of Trade Pleated. Probably not the sleeping astronomer. So how about that astronomer there? Right. I'm going, is there a sensible way I could... remove these two problematic dwarves from everyone else? So we can't lock the doors of the dining room, partly because it doesn't have many doors, and partly because the doors are blocked. And the other person is over there, similarly inconveniently positioned. The astronomer is unarmed, so if we put them into the military and sent them up to the surface, I wonder if that would help. Should we try that? Maybe we can't, simply because we can't put... Yeah, we can't put a visitor into the military. Was Ithel Idendeg the one I tried to expel when everything went horribly pear-shaped? Anyone feel like rewinding the stream and answering that question for me? Because that might be our problem. Let me just make my stream full screen and then rewind it and see if I can locate the point at which we had to. Maybe a bit much for... Because I've got 2 hours of stream here, somewhere in which is the last few seconds before a crash. Ooh, I've discovered a new feature of how rewinding this stream works. I can drag upwards and get finer detail of where I'm moving to. Ah, there was a loading screen, right. So if I watch my stream back now from an hour and 50 minutes ago. Okay, no, that crash, the first crash was caused by expelling Order Churro, I think. And was actually when I first tried to send them away. Okay, so I don't think that is the same scholar, right? Okay, let's come back to the present again. The one I thought might... The one who's causing the problem now is Athel Idendeg. If you can check the second crash, that might be nice, but... Yes, I think... So I can't do much with Athel Idendeg. They're stuck. They're in a room that can't be isolated. They're not leaving. In theory, I could expel them, but like I don't actually want another crash, even if it might allow me to rewind this. I don't think I can tell my military to kill them because... Well, let's just check. No. Because they're not officially enemies. Okay, let's be possibly... silly. Let's just send the military in and see what happens. This might be quite fatal, but it might be fatal in the right way. Gloved Tundras, go and see what you can do in there. Well, the Gloved Tundras appear to be beating Athel Idendeg up. Everyone seems to be beating up... Okay, mostly... Right, Athel Idendeg is dead. Now people are being interrupted by other people. Something has emptied a cage. Happily, the cage in question had a hedgehog in it. Okay, so the two crashes were caused by two different people being expelled. Oh, the tame hedgehog has escaped. And indeed, apparently has an owner. Now, I thought something has opened a cage might apply to our large collection of forgotten beasts, but no. Probably means we've got a gremlin kicking around somewhere, but... Right. There seem to be fewer interruptions now. Lots of people are drinking and eating, that's good. We're having a bit of a problem with the medical establishment. Because everyone is desperately in need of drinks. But because I put so many people into doing medicine, we might actually get somewhere there. We started this incident with about 100 citizens and long-term residents. We're now down to 72. I don't think anyone died in the cave-in. Someone was knocked over. Well, someone was stunned, and I think we lost a coffin. As in, so that we'll probably get. The merchants will be leaving soon. Yes, sorry. My broker has been injured. Oh, and my mayor has mandated the construction of quivers. Well, when we have a spare leather worker. Still, lots of surgery practice. There's only one spare. Install that spare bed in the hospital. Yes, I am, to be fair, not entirely surprised that people are tantruming. The situation is fairly horrid at the moment. Let's at least dispose of those corpses that we're pretty confident are not dwarven. So those don't rot the place up. Whereas most of the corpses and skeletons are in coffins, as they should be. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to declare a second hospital here. to give us a bit more space, though whether we can get anyone to it is another matter. Because I think everyone is actually in the hospital who wants to be. Yeah, probably for the best. There aren't many people who need medical treatment now, at least. A couple wanting couple wanting diagnosis, and some that we know what they need, but we haven't given it to them yet. So I think we're going to, especially given the number of dwarves I've currently got assigned to medical duties. Like, it would be nice if some of you prioritised burying the dead over whatever it is you're currently doing. Over, say, collecting webs. At least someone's engaged in burying the dead. That's a good start. Yeah, okay, several people are burying the dead. That's good. Yes, how did installing new... Right, damn it. Temple to Feeble, the King of Weevils. Also, since getting people buried is proving difficult, let's just set up a largish corpse stockpile out in caverns so that... No, actually, that's not the right place for that, is it? Off the main route between the fortress and the burial area. So that people who have died can get placed there if we haven't yet got a coffin for them. No one is residing here right now. Right, so that gets spare body parts and such like placed in that stockpile until such time as we have places to bury them. Okay. Well, Erdim Daros has claimed a Craftsdwarf's workshop. Well, yes, part of why I've set up that new stockpile is to get some of that miasma out of the fortress. Oh look, it's a forgotten beast. Hello, forgotten beast. Foolishly, you have arrived on the lowest level of the caverns. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to close the trapdoor to the lower level of the caverns. I hope there's no one down there, because if there is, they probably won't survive. But you are staying down there. We'll let you up once we've sorted things out up here. Yes, I suppose I should actually read the description of the said forgotten beast, shouldn't I? It's an enormous feathered mite. It has a long curving horn and a bloated body. Its lemon feathers are long and sparse. Beware its deadly spittle. So there. Some migrants have arrived despite the danger. The great thing about migrants is that they're not unhappy. Okay, apart from being grouchy at being caught in a snowstorm and sad at being separated from loved ones. I think we're mostly out of the desperately needing more medics phase. No, I think the problem with people arriving here is that they will pretty much always arrive in a snowstorm. And everyone who's arriving has useless skills. I don't know. I think that's all of our new arrivals. Obviously now there's lots of miasma forming around that stockpile, but that's why I put it somewhere where people weren't going to be going unless they were going to the stockpile, which everyone is. Raul Urdim Daros has begun a mysterious construction. Well, I mean, that should keep you out of trouble for a little while. What is the mysterious construction made of? The mysterious construction is made of copper and iron and amethysts, and more amethysts and more iron and dingo leather and diorite. And someone has been throwing teeth around. Don't want dwarf teeth getting forbidden. Let's operate the lever so that we can destroy any teeth that are in the rubbish dump. And then let's see what we have by way of spare teeth in stock, because some of them may have been forbidden as a result of being thrown. No, I think they don't. When they're knocked out, they don't count as being thrown. I'm slightly surprised that so many teeth are being dumped. Like, have we suddenly gained access to somewhere we didn't have access to before? Not that I mind. Like, it's good that teeth are getting dumped. I've confirmed that that's fixed something up else above it. That lot's all fixed to the ceiling. I think. Yes. Yeah, I'm just slightly surprised that people are dumping all of these teeth, because I'm sure I haven't asked them to for the most part. I mean, obviously we've gained a lot of teeth that need to be buried with dead dwarves. But I thought in general, like body parts, I had to do something about actively. And I've been rather too busy dealing with, like, hospitals and burials to deal with redundant teeth. But nonetheless, a bunch of corpses are getting automatically dumped, which is kind of curious. And like, we've got dwarves save corpses turned on, so they should in general be. Raudim Daros, captain of the guard, has created Geshudastuth, a diorite earring. She claims it as an heirloom in the name of the family ancestor Dorok Clashcrafted. This is a diorite earring. All craft dwarfship is of the highest quality. It is encrusted with radiant cut amethysts and encircled with bands of iron. This object menaces with spikes of amethyst, rockbone, and iron. On the item is an image of square cut gems in diorite. On the item is an image of Decline Certain the Painful Torment, the Crundlebone left gauntlet in giant dingo leather. On the item it is an image of square cut gems in copper. So there. Someone's probably fairly happy. Satisfied after creating an artifact. Oh, we've run out of wood. How embarrassing. Well, let's cut down all the trees in front of the fortress then. Okay, that corpse stockpile was not anything like big enough. enable carpentry on a couple of people to try to get the wooden caskets made if we've got, once now that we've got some more wood because we've chopped some trees down. Really like to at least get all of the dead out of the fortress before I stop tonight, because then things will be kind of slightly tidy. Right. I'll put Let's have that one not take things. I think our various food stockpiles can be like drained now. I don't think they're necessary. So if I set them to have no source and take from links only, then they will stay being stockpiles, which I think means the food won't rot in them. Oops, no. But will not get anything new put into them. It is quite snooze o'clock. I would quite like, though, to get... So that is blatantly a cat corpse, and indeed it is marked for dumping. Just need someone to do it. I think similarly all of that lot are. Well, two of them were, I think that... yes. Just that there is so much other moving of stuff to do. Someone's been throwing teeth again. Oh no, I think those ones are probably all in the... Iridinod is like one of ours, though. That lot are all teeth that are being dumped. Right, 3 more coffins available. Probably shouldn't do that actually, because that will just encourage people to try to put clothes away. Right now we have higher priorities than putting clothes away.
Good night, Steve.
3 more coffins now. Able to have people buried in. And all of them assigned to people. Getting somewhere slowly. What is going on down here? So yes, people keep tantruming in there, so place is full of thrown and hence forbidden objects. Right. We're going to need another batch of coffins, aren't we? Probably means we're going to need some more wood as well. Got just about enough. In theory, at least. Throwing a tooth at someone who is wearing armour should not cause them noticeable injury. Not unless you have actual tooth guns. Right. We've reached the end of another season, and yeah, mostly been tidying up. Right, it's midnight. I think after this save I should stop, even though we still have rubbish. We still have a few corpses kicking around in the fortress. They're mostly gone. And then we can see if we can recover this. It's not going too badly. I think enough people have died that the world is not now a disaster. Maybe the remaining dwarves will be happier. I mean, I was thinking that we were just going to end up with everyone, or at least a largest number of them being killed, and I was just going to have to abandon the fortress to ruin, but I think that may not be necessary yet. But we will see. So, yes, I think we'll stop here since it's a convenient season boundary, and say good night all, and we'll come back on Friday and finish tidying up. Good night.